Welcome back. If you're familiar with my channel, you know that I cover a lot of permaculture gardening. And I'm currently in Lower Alabama, where we have a beautiful food forest that covers about 3/4 of an acre. And then we have about 1/8 of an acre grocery row garden. Yet this year, we're also adding single row gardens. Big, wide, 3-foot rows between crops. Why would we do that? Let's run through the pros and cons of wide spacing and big old Victory Garden style gardens. I have our landrace corn mix here, which had a gap last year. We didn't plant it, but this year we are planting it again. And I'm doing it in single rows without irrigation, 3 feet apart. Pro number 1, it's simple. You don't have to go and buy stuff. You don't have to get raised beds. You don't have to have some real special setup, special tools, special soil. You're gonna just go till up an area in your yard and get some strings and some stakes if you wanna make sure your rows are straight, and then just plant your seeds right into the ground. And then you just hoe in between the rows, and you don't have to worry about mulch, and you don't have to worry about anything particularly fancy. It's super, super simple. So that's the first pro. It's very simple. Anybody can garden like this. I'm gonna share some serious cons with you right now. Starting with number 1. This method requires tilling. That means grinding and pulverizing the soil biome for decreased yields over time. You are just burning up that organic matter. You're destroying the fungi, you're destroying the bacteria, you're shredding worms. That's a pretty big downside to doing the till up a big area and make some wide rows. Not a fan. Our second pro, this is a time-tested method. This isn't like aquaponics or electroculture or really tight intensive spacing or putting lots of grow lights in a basement with perfect temperatures, etc. This is just a way that mankind has gardened for time immemorial. It is time tested, it is proven, and it's been around forever. So just that right there tells us there is something to it. I'll tell you the second con right here. This requires a lot of space. Okay, buddy, you're living out in the country, you got a tractor, you got just acres to mess around with, sure, go till it up. But if you're a normal person living in the city, you want to take a little bit of the stress off of your groceries, you might as well just say, hey, why don't you garden on Mars? No, you've got a little bit of space, you're gonna learn how to do some intensive gardening. You're gonna try to go vertical. You're gonna try and make your soil as absolutely rich as possible so you can get as big a yield as possible out of that space. So, hey, maybe you got the space to mess around and waste. Some of us don't got that. That's a big con. The third pro of single row Victory Garden style gardening. When you garden like this, your plants actually need less nutrition. What do I mean by that? Well, the individual plants do need the same amount of nutrition that they would normally need. However, they're not fighting for the resources. You haven't packed them all really tight, so you don't have to build your humus content up really high and make sure you have lots of compost or liquid fertilizers or any kind of special amendments. Because you've given the plants more spacing and you've eliminated the weed competition, they don't have to work as hard for the minerals that are in the soil. They can get what they need because there's less competition and they've got lots of space to work inside of. This area right here is our potatoes. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 tiller widths here. All the way to the back will be Ezekiel's landrace watermelon project this year. And then I've got the 1, 2, 3, 4 rows of corn, and I planted this corn roughly 6 inches apart, and it's 150 foot with 3 foot spacing between the rows. And this last empty section right here is going to be where I plant the black variety of pumpkin that I am trying to stabilize and save seeds from. So we'll have some watermelons on one side of the corn and some pumpkins on the other. Here's another con for you. Bare ground, hot as the dickens. You know, when you strip off all of the organic matter, all of the cover from the soil, no mulch, no greenery, and you put some stuff in rows, when the heat gets up there, it's just burning those roots. It's just cooking them down. There's a reason the closer planting took off. It creates a microclimate. There's a reason for cover crops. There's a reason for mulch. It may be an old-fashioned way to do it, and it may get you some food, but man, you're burning those roots up. You're burning those roots up. The fourth pro to single row Victory Garden style gardening. Your plants just don't need as much water. I've already said that they need less nutrients in the soil. That means you don't have to intensively feed them because there's less root competition. This also holds true for irrigation. The reason that people did widely spaced rows in the past is not just because, oh, you could fit a tractor through it. This is just a commercial method. It's because if you can't haul a garden hose 1,000 feet from your house out there to grow your crops, if you are settling on the plains, if you are opening up a piece of wood and trying to grow food for your family, you have to rely on rainwater. So you plant your seed with the rain, and by spacing widely and eliminating the weed competition, the roots of those plants are not fighting nearly so much for the resources in the soil. So there's a certain amount of water that falls and soaks into the ground, and once your plants have pulled it out, it's gone, and it needs to be rejuvenated with another rain or with you watering it. So if you can't bring water to it, you could have widely spaced plants that could still be surviving on a rainfall from 2 weeks ago instead of having to be watered every day or every other day. So the less roots in the ground, the wider spacing means it takes less water to grow the crops, and often rainfall will suffice if you plan things out properly. Number 4, don't even get me started on erosion. Dust bowl, anyone? Till the ground, invert it, wind blows it away. What do you got? Acres and acres and acres and acres and acres of ruined grassland, poor soil choices. What about Appalachia, where they decided to just go ahead and till some of those beautiful mountainsides? There's an area in Georgia right now that looks like it's in Death Valley because they decided, ill-advised, to just go ahead and plow up a slope and plant corn or cotton or whatever they planted. What was left was so much erosion that it went right down to the bedrock, completely destroyed the soil structure. Erosion is a serious con. If you've got any kind of slope, it's going to mess you up to just till a big space up. The fifth pro to wide-spaced Victory Garden style gardening is that it is easy to maintain. All you need is a garden hoe or a wheel hoe, and you have to go around and you just chop the weeds down in between. You're not having to hand pull over the entire space because everything is planted so tightly. You're not having to dump in new mulch regularly or anything else. You're just working with the dirt, and you're going to go hack the weeds out of the dirt that show up. You're just going to go clean it up with a hoe, and it's easy to maintain. Not to say that it's easy to necessarily hoe for a few hours, but it's easier to maintain a large space with a hoe than it is to maybe get truckloads of mulch or hand pull everything really, really carefully in the garden. It's simple, it's easy. My fifth con is for you hipsters out there. This isn't trendy. It is not going to win you any awards to go and put rows of corn out in your garden in perfect rows. People will think that you are old and boring. There are a lot cooler ways to garden. If you want to see something really cool, look at a mature food forest system. Look at espaliered pears. Look at some of these cool automated systems that people have made to grow perfect crops with perfect irrigation. There's some really neat stuff out there. This is old, this is boring, this is broke, this is dead. It's not trendy.
And there's a reason for that, because it's boring.
Pro number 6, this one is just the pro to end all pros. This is the top reason to grow a widely spaced traditional garden. And that is, this is a very good way to get a lot of food fast. So if you have a food forest system, it could take you 3 years, 4 years, 5 years to start to get decent production out of it. If you have intensive little beds, you have to go and build them. You have to go get the lumber. You have to get the amendments. You have to really make sure you super improve the soil. With a widely spaced traditional row garden, you just till the area up, you plant your crops, you feed with whatever you have available, and you will start to get yields very quickly, and you can grow a lot of food in a short period of time. So if I was in a situation where civilization was collapsing, or I was worried about the economy, and I wanted to get a lot of food, I'm not going to try and perfectly balance all of my soil nutrients. I'm not going to go see if I can get chip drop. I'm not going to try and plant a food forest to feed me. I'm going to get fast producing crops. I'm going to till the ground up. I'm going to weed them like crazy. I'm going to make sure that I pick all the bugs off of them. I will do a simple, widely spaced, rainfall irrigated garden over a large area and grow crops like potatoes, grain corn, sweet potatoes, turnips, things that will fill you up, get you full, that can grow really nicely and quickly and get you yields.
Here's a sixth con for you. Lots of bare soil means only a little amount of living roots in the soil. Living roots pump sugars into the soil and increase the bacteria, the fungi, and the life that is existing in the soil microbiome. If you have that beautiful, spongy, untilled ecosystem going on, like you get in a grocery row garden, like you get in a food forest, like you get in syntropic agriculture, that's what you should be looking for. Not hot, baked clods with hardly any life on them, just selecting for the crops that you have in rows. And don't even get me started on monocultures and the problem that that can be. That is a bad deal. You don't want that. That's a major con. One type of plant in rows with nothing in between, no sugars being pumped into the grounds except for those struggling crops in that baking hot soil. Yeah, not my favorite.
It's awesome to have permanent agricultural systems, and I'm a huge fan of the grocery row gardens and food forests and a lot of these permaculture projects. But sometimes it's really important to just get food quickly, and this is a quick way to get food. Over time, you can build up and build more beautiful systems and go closer and closer towards perfection. You can maybe move towards no-till. You can plant lots of fruit trees. You can build orchards. You can create food savannas and food forests and hugelkultur mountains or whatever you want to do. But you can get food in a couple of months by tilling and planting with much less in the way of initial resources, time, investment, etc., and a really, really quick return. So it may not be the best for the soil, but it does get you food right away, and that is a major pro.
And don't forget, there are really good alternatives to this system. This may be a tool that you decide to use for a short term, but I wouldn't use this in the long term. I just wouldn't. Would this shirt lie to you? I don't think so.
It's very important for us to have a wide range of tools available to us. What are you hoping to do? Are you hoping to get all of your food this year off of your land? Are you hoping to build a long-term ecosystem that over time provides you with what you need? Are you worried about the future? Are you worried about the economy? Are you worried about war? Are you worried about this or that or the other thing? You need to get food fast. You need to get your food pantry set up. You need to get your food pantry in the ground in the terms of calories that are just ready to be harvested. Then the single row garden thing I think makes a lot of sense, but particularly when you compare it to something that's more resource intensive, like watering raised beds that you built out of cedar, or even worse, horse troughs or aquaponics or something like that, where you're trying to create a complicated system to get food. Like literally you can put in thousands of square foot of garden in a weekend with a tiller. And if you can't till, you can dig garden beds and you can chop all the sod off, and you can do it over the course of a week or so. But you can get food quickly with what you have available. You can turn a lawn into a garden without elaborate planning, without carpentry, without having to go buy PVC or timers or whatever, liquid fertilizer injectors. You can make it really simple. So just keep this in your toolkit. I'm not telling you to just go plow your food forest under or to go cut down the woods and plant like this, but it's a useful tool, and it is time tested, it's traditional, and it may not be trendy, but it works. And generation after generation after generation of people have grown food this way and have lived off of it. And we need to respect what our ancestors did and use what we can of that and try to understand why they did it and how they did it, so we can make sure that we have food security for the future. Thanks for joining us. If you want to grow 500 pounds of food in your backyard this year, and you're interested in joining our Grow 500 Challenge, and you like my work and you want to support it, please come and join our private community where we are doing the Grow 500 Challenge and getting people to grow their first 500 pounds of food in their backyards. Instead of shipping it in through the grocery store from thousands of miles away, you're going to haul food in from your backyard, and I'm helping quite a few people do that this year. So you can sign up below. We have prizes, and we have a good and encouraging community. I'll see you there. Thanks for joining me. If you have any questions, any additional pros or cons, leave them in the comments. And until next time, may your thumbs always be green.